What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the after credit scene. We are talking a forecast and predictions for episode 3 of Agatha All Along. It's coming out Wednesday night, so I'm curious to see what you guys think. Got a whole bunch of things to talk about, and if you've seen some of the teaser trailers, there's a lot of stop cuts and a lot of pictures and elements you can kind of get into and make some assumptions from. So we're pulling a lot of things from that, but we've also got a lot of theories and things that we're going to go through as well. As always, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so when we drop new content, you'll be the first ones to know about it. Then spread this video all across the multiverse. I've got a whole lot of predictions here that I'm pretty confident of, pretty spot on. I think some of them you'll find are pretty easy, pretty generic, but moving forward, I think they're things we need to talk about. 100% confident here that this road, this witch's road, is definitely a metaphor. Layers and layers of metaphor here. Now, yes, there is an actual witch's road type thing, and they're walking the road, but I think in terms of storytelling, in terms of what's coming and the different characters, this idea of walking the road and all the puzzles and the tricks and the different things that they'll have to do to get through the road and the way that they're tested and challenged, I think it's going to be a lot of elements that's going to really have some metaphor and some layer to it, especially when we get to these different settings and scenes. There's a lot of different shots from the show that we have yet to see, obviously, and I think a lot of that is going to really lend itself to the different levels of storytelling, character development, stuff like that. Having said that, I think these witches' tests, like each one of them, where we need a potions witch and we need a diviner and we need all these different things, I think all of these tests are going to equal a lot more backstory, whether it's the houses that we find ourselves in, the different costumes they're wearing, the challenges that they're asked to confront, the monsters that they confront. All these different elements are going to be part of giving you the backstory of these characters, whether it's in an old costume or a storyline or something with Agatha and the Green Witch, Aubrey Plaza's character. I think a lot of that stuff is going to come in the form of these tests. It's going to come in the form, and you're going to get some backstory along with those things as these other witches help out along the witch's road. And I also think that the road and the things there are going to be metaphors for their story as well, especially the witch's road manifesting itself when they use their powers, the idea that Agatha pulls her power from other people, all these different elements, especially the ideas of coven and family, where all of these witches are more independent and want to be spread out and do their own thing, or they've been isolated for whatever reason, bringing them together in coven form and walking this road together, like the journey metaphor, all that kind of stuff. It's really going to parse itself out. This is going to be the storytelling element, I think, that's really going to move this stuff forward. Also, first episode, getting into episode 3 here, episode ideas and episode theories. I think we're going to find out that, especially for this first test, that they've been walking around in circles. You're going to find, we saw that there's something in the distance of this road. They had to take their shoes off, but there's some behind the scenes and some different videos that I've watched that maybe it's a shot that they didn't use, but I would be willing to bet that this is going to be a maze. It's going to be some kind of similar to some of the ideas that were explored in a show like Westworld, if you watch that, this idea where the maze of the mind, and where we're still unraveling things from Agatha's past and all these other witches. The road is not just meant to be survived so that you can gain your power. It's meant to test you and train you to help you become the witch that you're supposed to be. And maybe it's a Wizard of Oz element where you get to the end and you find out that you had the power all along. One of those type things. But I think they're going to find out that literally they're going around in circles in this first episode. And that's going to be one of the first tests, is how to break through that. Maybe there's another illusion. Maybe there's something else going on. To that end, there's one big element that I think is going to be a twist early on here, and that is I think that Mrs. Hart is going to disappear fast and quick. Now, whether something happens to her or whether you find out that it's been Aubrey Plaza's character in disguise, most of the clips that I've seen thus far, when it shows all of the different characters, she's not there. And when Aubrey Plaza's character's there, she's not there. I tend to think that either something's going to happen or that's going to be the twist, is that she's been with them the whole time, especially because Agatha ignored the diviner's list when she was looking for the witches that she needed, because she ignored that list in favor of going to get Mrs. Hart instead of going after who she probably needed to go get, which was Aubrey Plaza's character, the Green Witch. Moving forward, I don't know if it'll happen this episode, but they threw it out enough. They gave you enough foreshadowing in episodes 1 and 2 that I think they're going to have to get to it, especially because they talked about it in WandaVision as well. This idea of Nicholas Scratch, Agatha's son, long-lost son, dead son, abandoned son, whatever the case, the rabbit being named Senior Scratchy, some of these different things. I think this Nicholas Scratch mystery is going to be unraveled in one way or the other. It may perhaps be this mysterious teenager. That character may be Nicholas Scratch, but it may be somebody else. Either way, I think even if the teenager becomes somebody else, I think the Nicholas Scratch mystery is going to be resolved, or maybe you just get it in some backstory. Either way, as viewers, we're going to find out what this is. Here's one of my big theories. One of my big theories that I want us to talk about for a second. I'm curious to see what you think in the comments below. I think, and I'm about 80% sure on this, what if this Witch's Road is one big illusion inside of an illusion, right? The idea of WandaVision was that, we couldn't imagine Wanda doing that, even though we all kind of knew maybe Wanda's doing this. But it would mean certain things about Wanda if she were doing it. But the idea that her grief had caused her to do those things, that Agatha had played into that and was either moving it along or trying to use Wanda to get her magic. Either way, you find out that Wanda has created this illusion, but that it was created out of a little bit of a flawed mindset. And then that idea is explored in Multiverse of Madness with the different things that Wanda does because she's trying to get her children back. This flawed mindset, whether it is because of the influence of the Darkhold or just in her own head, this idea that I'm living in an illusion in my head and I've created it because I have the power to create it in the real world. Agatha in episode 1 gets pulled out of her own illusion where she's living in her mind because of the way that Wanda left her at the end of WandaVision, and she has to claw her way out of that. The idea that maybe the Witch's Road, that we find out later on that yes, the Witch's Road is a real thing, but it's not a physical place that you can find. And that it's not even maybe a mystical place that you can find, that it is something that in the culture of witchery or whatever in the MCU or in these comics, that the Witch's Road is something that comes to you, that's manifested, that is another mental illusion, something that maybe you find out later that all of these witches are performing some kind of seance together, or they were transported to some other realm. The Witch's Road could somehow function as some other realm, but you're only there mentally, in a way that you're having to combat these things, that it's more of a mental thing and you're all creating it yourselves, similar to the way that Wanda was trapped in her own mind because the spell was so strong. Maybe something like that. Maybe, it would certainly lean into this idea that they're messing with powers they don't really understand, that they've had the power all along, and that somehow they can free themselves, which is what happened in WandaVision. It's what happens at the beginning of Agatha, and it would be a really interesting misdirect if they pull you out of Agatha's mental state only to make you think for the rest of the show that she's no longer in that state, and she's actually free from that the whole time. Maybe getting her out of Wanda's spell is a lot harder than just Agatha waking up. Maybe she's still in that spell, and Aubrey Plaza's character is doing a whole lot of stuff, and you're going to find out that the Witch's Road is just an illusion inside the world that Agatha is still playing in her head. I think one way to find that out is to really pay attention to the clues. I think there's a whole lot of foreshadowing through the show and in the credits at the end. There's different little comments and things that were kind of redacted that are starting to appear. Pay attention to those. I would encourage you, as this show goes along, pay attention to all the Easter eggs. I think this show's going to be really Easter egg heavy, more so than others, especially with the way things are designed and the settings they use, the clothing they use, the comments they make, the characters that they choose to have in each scene, the color of their magic, all the different stuff, the coloring of the show and what's going on. I think that's all really important. I think it will be important, and I think some of it is more foreshadowing than we realize. But never forget that if the Salem witches, if the Salem 7 are after them, then the whole thing is a race against time. But a race for who? Are they after Agatha because she's done something wrong and they finally found her and they're getting her because of the Darkhold? because they never came after Wanda. Now, maybe they didn't have enough time to, because she already, took it upon herself to destroy everything, or maybe because she destroyed herself, they didn't go after her. Could be something as simple as, well, the Salem 7 wouldn't go after the Chaos Witch. Who knows? But are they after Agatha? Are they after somebody else? Are they trying to keep the order of things? What is it? There's a race against time here, not only for them to finish the road, but to get their powers back, and to have to confront the Salem 7. Now, maybe the Salem 7 are already involved with it, and we get back to an idea like this. Who knows? Either way, I've enjoyed the show so far. I think the little touches, the Disney-esque touches of this are going to be all through it, because Disney really loves being able to pull from their catalog with different stories and different things. The Wicked Witch of the West, and Lisa Simpson dressed up like a witch. All those different things at the end are very playful, but I think they might be some foreshadowing as well that won't be really apparent until later on in the series. I've enjoyed the way it's gone so far. I've loved the speed of it. I really hope the pace keeps up. It's probably going to slow down a little bit, because you've still got you've still got 7 episodes to get through, because it's a 9-episode run. And so I think they've got time to slow down and really dive into some character development. But I'm curious what you guys think. What theories are really sticking with you? What things did you notice that maybe I didn't notice? Add them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And check out some of our other videos. We got a whole lot of things you can sink your teeth into. And as always, when the next one drops, we'll catch you right back here. Later, guys.